Hey there, how are you doing? So many changes, so much is happening. And so I did this the other day, and I'm going to keep doing messages from the angels. And I'm excited to share this with you. It's something that is so important for my more spiritual followers. So if you're not one of those, this is probably not your video. And I have not really talked a lot about on this channel my spiritual gifts. Every once in a while I hear that I'm spiritually gifted, but I haven't gotten into real detail about it. So I thought this would be really good. A lot of people responded really well to my last message from the angels. And so I'm going to give you a little teeny backstory on me and then tell you some of the new messages that I am hearing. I am really honored and blessed to have this forum to connect with people, to make a message that resonates with others in a way that will hopefully give you peace, understanding, and clarity. I have been doing angel sessions for probably about 15 years. I've known that I've had a gift for probably 25 plus years. And it's one of those things where I kind of thought all of you guys had the same thing until I got older and realized nobody else was seeing the dead people I was seeing. So I sometimes jokingly say I see dead people, but it's actually really true. And I have had many interesting interactions that nobody else in my group has. And this is obviously something very unique about me. And I do one-on-one angel sessions usually. I don't usually do them on video and expressing, but with all the changes, I'm feeling such a off balance with the universe, yet a beautiful balance coming into place. And so I wanted to share a little bit about my gift so you can understand why I'm sharing these messages from the angels. I have four fat cherubs on my right side. So if you had come in for an angel session, you'd always see my eyes darting up to the side because they are very visual, very descriptive, very detailed, and they are adorable. And they like to be called the four fat cherubs. They're kind of like a crew together. And everybody has different angels and different guides that support them. It's up to your willingness to learn and listen. This is something I was born with. All my kids have it too. And I used to get it so strong that I didn't understand it. The noise would get really loud. I'd put my hands over my ears, my head between my legs, and just hope the sound would stop because I didn't understand it. Well, as I got older and more aware and work with my own angel connection people, I was able to learn more about my gift and be able to accept it, embrace it. Sometimes it's difficult, and sometimes it is the answer that everyone's looking for. And so, something that I've been wanting to share is yesterday I got up in the morning ready to do my normal morning walk. And I know that during this quarantine time we're still allowed to go out and exercise, and so I was excited to get out and exercise and do one of my favorite walks through the city. And I go over the bridges and have a nice time just feeling the energy of the water moving underneath, the wind blowing, seeing the city wake up, and it's just so beautiful. Well, I found myself in a really interesting space. My angels have always been very protective of me. They've made it times where I physically can't walk into a building. They have definite places they don't allow me. And thankfully, I have wonderful friends that understand and will go into places for me if needed, or understand that we're just not going there, or they just let me decide where we're going to sit because the angels are very particular and they let me know who I'm supposed to talk with, interact with, and what's going on. So it's very, very interesting. Well, this walk, I found myself feeling completely different than usual. I was having a hard time. My chest was really tight. My breathing was difficult. I felt very shaky. And I kept pushing through because I knew that I was not going to go for another walk for a while. And I really wanted the exercise and wanted to feel in some sense of control. Like the only thing I could really control is that I can still get out and take a walk because of all the changes. And I love my walks. As many of you know, that's a big thing of how I process and think through ideas and thoughts. And this walk, the chatter was really loud, and I was trying to understand why. Because normally the walks, it's just I say hi to people, it's interactive, it's nice, but it's never really overwhelming. The angels aren't super loud. They're just to help me process whatever thing I'm working on, whether it's personal or professional. And the more I walked, the louder the voices got, the louder and louder and louder. And I kept seeing spirits all over the place. And I was like, what is going on? It was very overwhelming. It was very claustrophobic. Amazing to think in an eerie town of no one around that's usually bustling around. it was very claustrophobic. I felt overwhelmed, and I realized later when I got home that that's what that was. It was the energy of all these spirits that are actually confused and frustrated because they're in the city. They're trapped just like all of us. Some are staying because they choose to, others are trapped. But normally they have all these people around them to interact. They have all these people to converse with. A lot of times people don't know that there's a spirit talking to them. And they have all this distraction going on and stories happening. And they love to see people doing good things, having a good time. They love looking out for people. Many spirits that are around are actually really, really good and they want to help. And right now, they're confused, they're very lost. And it is an interesting feeling walking around, seeing all of these spirits having no one to talk with, no one to interact with. And this might sound really crazy and might sound super, different for those that don't understand how this works. But for me, I felt like I had to share it because I was wondering how many times people are out and they're getting this overwhelming feeling and they think it's just that they're fearful of the world and all that's happening. But really what it is they're probably running into a bunch of really confused spirits that are overwhelmed or sad or lonely or just not sure what's happening because the world has changed so much and they don't understand. We don't even understand. So this might sound really strange to suggest to you, but follow your own inner voice, follow your inner heart. If you feel like you shouldn't be somewhere, if your angels are telling you not to go somewhere, if your gut's telling you not to go somewhere, I really recommend you don't go there. Don't try to push through it. There's probably some spiritual energy that you don't need to be around. I have recently figured out that this isn't going to work for me, as you can tell, but yet I also thought about, okay, I negotiated with my angels, talked with them and said, hey, where can I go? Because I still need some outside energy. And their suggestion was for me to stick with the earth energy, to walk in the forest, be around trees, running water still, the rocks, the gravel underneath my feet. The air is just different when they're surrounded by trees. Luckily, I do have a way to do that. It's very close to my home. There's a wonderful park I can go to that's still open. And I want to challenge you to really get in tune with the space that you're in. I do much better when I don't go outside during the crazy energy, when people are feeling very overwhelmed. It can be too intense for me because then I get all these angels and spirits telling me what to say to people that aren't asking me for my advice and my information. So I do have to stay in my own little bubble, not because I actually think I'm going to get sick. I have to stay in my own bubble for my own emotional, spiritual safety and to keep me from being completely exhausted. So if you are finding yourself just overwhelmed, know that it's might not be anything horrid. It might mostly be that there's just some spirits that are trying to get to you because you're the only one around. And so if you want to talk with them, great, but also give yourself permission to just say, you know what, right now I can't engage with you. Right now I need to breathe and I need the space. So I just want to encourage you to listen to yourself, take the time out that you need. This is personal healing. This is part of you finding your own grounding energy. So for those of you that are super spiritual, are intuitives, are psychics, are empaths, protect yourself. These spirits are chatty. They are talking like crazy and they want to be heard. So be careful though that you don't attach yourself and have them come home with you. Make sure you slough them off before you walk inside. Give them permission to talk wherever you're comfortable with them talking, and then let them know that they need to continue on their journey. This isn't for you to bring them with you. Allow yourself permission to create a dome that is safe. Your bubble, your home, your space. This is safe from all the chaos. It's not just a virus that we're trying to protect ourselves from. We also are trying to protect ourselves from the energy being super imbalanced, having people that are off track. I noticed that, I mean, gosh, a guy ran a red light right in front of me and I was close. If it wasn't for somebody behind me that made a whistle sound that made me turn, I would have been hit by that car. Everyone's just really distracted right now. They're all over the place. We're overwhelmed. This is a lot. So staying home is also for your own physical, emotional, spiritual safety and sanity. So I hope I didn't freak you out with the message that I had to share today. The angels were very determined for me to share this. Please let me know if this resonates with you, if it makes sense to you, if you want me to share more of these messages, and just know that we can all breathe well. The spirits are good. They just want a lot of attention right now, and you have to do your own self-care, even for the spiritually gifted. I'll talk to you more, and there'll be more messages from the angels.